First time I saw the film you're about to watch, Miss Lovely, I remember being slightly underwhelmed. You see, I was watching it for the wrong reasons. I thought it would be a spectacle of Indian cinema, a reflection on the C-grade films that were prevalent in the 80s, and well, it wasn't any of those things. This is actually a film that asks us a lot more questions than it sets out to answer. Questions about censorship, sexuality, gender, and the roles and definitions of what Indian cinema actually is. You see, often people mistake Indian cinema for this wonderful, opaque series of images where you have an excess of colour and song. But what this film does is it tones that down and reflects on the rather grubby, grimy, realistic situation where people in the A industry were making films for the masses, but people in the C industry were making films for a certain clientele of customer, a certain customer that was looking for eroticism, which couldn't be found in India at that time, but also were looking for the enforcement of the misogyny that was prevalent at the time, and unfortunately can be argued still is in some respects. The interesting thing about this film is it doesn't hold back. It lets you know how it feels and its political ideas straight away, and it then slowly progresses through with this rather wonderful and rather strange story of two brothers who, to be perfectly fair, one is simply in awe of the other one, and the older brother is manipulating the situation to basically get what he wants out of it, i.e. women, sex, and money. The interesting thing at the end is that the film capitulates and turns into this rather seedy, structured piece about how pornography certainly disturbs, like Boogie Nights. In fact, I would probably say that's the closest film I can relate it to. But even more so, it's about how sexuality in cinema is always repressed, because there's always a fear that somewhere along the line it'll disrupt and dismember the patriarchal system. That sounds a lot of mumbo jumbo, and some people will probably say, oh, ho hum to that. But in fact, actually, there is a point to this. The fact is that we do live in a time where men, and especially men, have control. And if you think about it like this, in the area of India, men very much dominate still. In the West, white men dominate. Let's be honest about that. And as we've seen with the recent sort of falling out between things like the Oscars, which is rather banal look at the film as an art form, it asks the question, as this film does, what is the relevance between us, the viewer, what we're watching, and even more so, what the enforced ideology is. In the end, the film brilliantly conveys how seedy and grubby people had to get to make these films, and also who they were making them for. But it does ask the question, are we as culpable as those who are making it?